Good afternoon. Committee is resumed. Please take your seats.
Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023, Clause 1, short title. Clause 2, amendment to Section 10 of the Local Companies Control Act 2019 revision, application for license. Clause 4, amendment to Section 13, annual license fee. Clause 4, amendment to Section 22, regulations.
Are there any questions on clauses 1 to 4? If not, I will put the question. The question is that clauses 1 to 4 do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clauses 1 to 4 do stand part of the bill.
A bill for an act to amend the Local Companies Control Act 2019 revision to empower the Cabinet to make regulations as may be necessary to prescribe all matters that are required or permitted by the Act to be prescribed, including fees, and for incidental and connected purposes.
The question is that the title do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The title stands part of the bill. The question now is that the bill be reported to the House. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The bill will accordingly be reported to the House.
Companies Amendment Bill 2024, Clause 1, short title and commencement. Clause 2, general amendments to the Companies Act 2023 revision, references to parts. Clause 3, amendment of Section 2, definitions and interpretation. Clause 4, amendment of Section 14, special resolution for reduction of share capital.
Are there any questions on clauses 1 to 4 of the bill? If not, I will put the question. The question is that clauses 1 to 4 do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clauses 1 to 4 do stand part of the bill.
Clause 5, insertion of Section 14A and 14B, reduction supported by insolvency statement, registration of insolvency statement, and minute of reduction.
Honorable Deputy Governor, Premier, I have waived the requirement of 2 days' notice for an amendment to be moved by your good self. You may do so now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 52, I, the Honorable Andre Eubanks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, give notice to move the following amendment to the Companies Amendment Bill 2024, that the bill be amended in Clause 5 in the proposed Section 14A by deleting subsection 2.
The amendment has been duly moved. Does any member wish to speak thereto? If not, the question is that the amendment stand part of the clause. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The amendment stands part of the clause. The question now is that the clause as amended do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 5 as amended stands part of the bill.
Clause 6, amendment of section 15, application to court for confirming order, objections by creditors. Clause 7, amendment of section 17, registration of order and minute of reduction. Clause 8, amendment of section 37, redemption and purchase of shares.
Are there any questions on clauses 6, 7, and 8? If not, I will put the question. The question is that clauses 6, 7, and 8 do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clauses 6, 7, and 8 do stand part of the bill.
Clause 9, amendment of section 60, definition of special resolution.
I have received notice of an amendment to clause 9 of the bill. And I've given the minister leave to bring the amendment. Minister, I now invite you to move the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 52, I, the Honorable Andre E. Banks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, give notice to move the following amendment to the Companies Amendment Bill 2024, that the bill be amended by deleting Clause 9.
The amendment has been duly moved. Does any member wish to speak thereto?
Very briefly, Mr. Chair. As a matter of just historical record, this was the clause I referred to in my presentation of the bill, in which industry was not quite prepared just as yet and wanted to reflect a bit further on amending the definition of a special resolution. Therefore, this allows them time to deliberate further, and it has a consequential amendment, which is why we had to make the amendment to Clause 5, and we'll have consequential amendments for 16 and 18 and 19 that will come up shortly.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Does any other member wish to speak? If no member wishes to speak, the question is that the amendment stand part of the clause. All those, no stand part of the clause. No. Sorry about that. The question is that clause 9 be deleted. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 9 is deleted.
Clause 10, amendment of section 88, power to acquire shares of the
dissentient. Those who dissent.
Power to acquire shares of dissentient shareholders. Clause 11, amendment of section 201, application for continuation. Clause 12, amendment of part 13, re-registration as a means of an ordinary non-resident company becoming exempted. Clause 13, insertion of section 211A and 211B. Exempting company may be re-registered as an ordinary resident company. Effect of re-registration of an exempted company as an ordinary resident company. Clause 14, amendment of part 16, merger and consolidation. Clause 15, amendment of section 232, definition of this part.
The question is that clauses 10 to 15 stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clauses 10 to 15 do stand part of the bill.
Clause 16, amendment of section 233, merger and consolidation.
I have received notice of an amendment to the bill with respect to clause 16, and I've given the member leave to bring the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 52, I, the Honorable Andre E. Banks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, give notice to move the following amendment to the Companies Amendment Bill 2024, that the bill be amended by deleting Clause 16.
The amendment has been duly moved. Does any member wish to speak thereto? If no member wishes to speak, the question is that clause 16 be deleted. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 16 is deleted.
Clause 17, insertion of section 233A and 233B, conversion of a limited liability company to an exempted company, conversion of a foundation company to an exempted company.
Is there any question? Are there any questions on clause 17? If not, I will put the question. The question is that clause 17 do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. Clause 17 does stand part of the bill.
Clause 18, amendment of section 238, rights of dissenters.
I have received notice of an amendment to clause 18 to the bill, and have given the member leave to bring the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 52, I, the Honorable Andre E. Banks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, give notice to move the following amendment to the Companies Amendment Bill 2024, that the bill be amended by deleting Clause 18.
The amendment has been duly moved. Does any member wish to speak thereto? If no member wishes to speak, the question is that clause 18 be deleted. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 18 is deleted.
Clause 19, amendment of section 239, limitation and rights of dissenters.
I have received notice of an amendment to clause 19 to the bill, and have given the minister leave to bring the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 52, I, the Honorable Andre E. Banks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, give notice to move the following amendment to the Companies Amendment Bill 2024. The bill be deleted that the bill be amended by deleting clause 19.
Does any member wish to speak? If no member wishes to speak, the question is that clause 19 be deleted. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 19 is deleted.
Clause 20, amendment of section 252, duty to establish and maintain beneficial ownership register.
Are there any questions on the clause? If not, I will put the question. The question is that clause 20 do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. Clause 20 stands part of the bill.
A bill for an act to amend the company.
Chair, could I just, for the purpose of the record, just ask, would you leave so that the committee confirms that the bill, given the deletion of the clauses, that the relevant clauses, or the clauses, remaining clauses be renumbered accordingly? We have deleted about 3 clauses, and so the record to reflect that having deleted some of the clauses, the committee approved that the bill be renumbered accordingly.
Mr. Attorney General, would it be appropriate that a motion to that effect is moved by a member of the committee? Minister. Mr. Minister, I invite you to propose the appropriate motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, as Andre E. Banks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, ask for the committee to move to renumbering the bill accordingly, given the deleted clauses.
The motion has been moved that the bill be renumbered to reflect the deletion of clauses 9, 16, 18, and 19. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. Okay, Minister. Let's delete that and try a new motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, Andre E. Banks, Minister for Financial Services and Commerce, move that the bill be renumbered by in Clause 5 by the removal of sub 2 under 14A, subsection 2 under 14A, and to reflect accordingly the deletion of Clause 9, 16, 18, and 19.
The motion has been duly moved. The question is that the bill be renumbered in Clause 5 by deleting subsection 2, and that the bill be further amended and renumbered following the deletion of clauses 9, 16, 18, and 19. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The bill will accordingly be renumbered.
A bill for an act to amend the Companies Act 2023 revision to vary the procedure for the reduction of share capital, to provide for the repurchase or redemption of fractional shares, to vary the procedure for passing a special resolution, to provide for the conversion of a limited liability company or a foundation company to an exempted company, and for incidental and connected purposes.
The question is that the title do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it, I think. The title stands part of the bill. The question now is that the bill be reported to the House. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The bill will accordingly be reported to the House.
Civil Proceedings, Closed Material Procedures, Bill 2023. Clause 1, short title. Clause 2, interpretation. Clause 3, declaration permitting closed material application in civil proceedings. Clause 4, review and revocation of declaration under Section 3. Clause 5, determination by court of applications in Section 3 proceedings. Clause 6, special advocate. Clause 7, saving for disclosure rules. Clause 8, general provision about Section 3 proceedings. Clause 9, disclosure proceeding, Norwick Pharmaceutical and similar jurisdictions. Clause 10, review of certification. Clause 11, persons who may act as special advocates. Clause 12, regulations. Clause 13, rules committee. Clause 14, immunity. Clause 15, reports on the use of closed material procedure. Clause 16, review of Section 3 to 8. Clause 17, transitional.
Are there any questions on clauses 1 to 17? If not, I will put the question. The question is that clauses 1 to 17 do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes have it. Clauses 1 to 17 do stand part of the bill.
A bill for an act to provide for the use of closed material procedures in civil proceedings, to provide for the appointment of special advocates, and for incidental and connected purposes.
The question is that the title do stand part of the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. The ayes, I have it, I think. The title stands part of the bill. The question now is that the bill be reported to the House. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The bill will accordingly be reported to the House. The House will now resume. Please be seated.
Report on bills. Merchant Shipping Bill 2023.
I recognize the Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to report that a bill shortly entitled the Merchant Shipping Bill 2023 was considered by a committee of the whole House and passed without amendments.
Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023. Sorry.
The bill has been duly reported to the House and is set down for its third reading. No, just so I can explain. Yes, because the first reading and the second reading took place yesterday, we don't need to suspend the standing orders. The standing orders say that no more than 2 readings can be conducted in a day. So if we want to go to 3, we'd have to suspend the standing order. But we're into the second day now. So, okay?
Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023.
I recognize the Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm pleased to report that a bill shortly entitled the Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023 was considered by a committee of the whole House and passed without amendments.
The bill has been duly reported and is set down for its third reading.
Companies Amendment Bill 2024.
I recognize the Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to report that a bill shortly entitled the Companies Amendment Bill 2024 was considered by a committee of the whole House and passed with amendments and renumbering.
The bill has been duly reported and is set down for its third reading.
Civil Proceedings Closed Material Procedures Bill 2023.
I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to report, that a bill entitled the Civil Proceedings Closed Material Procedures Bill 2023 has been considered by a committee of the whole House and passed without amendments.
The bill has been duly reported and is set down for its third reading.
Third readings. Merchant Shipping Bill 2023.
The Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that a bill shortly entitled the Merchant Shipping Bill 2023 be given a third reading and passed.
The motion is that a bill shortly entitled the Merchant Shipping Bill 2023 be given a third reading and passed. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The bill, Merchant Shipping Bill 2023, has been duly passed.
Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023.
I recognize the Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that a bill shortly entitled the Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023 be given a third reading and passed.
The question is that a bill shortly entitled the Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023 be given a third reading and passed. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The Local Companies Control Amendment Bill 2023 is duly passed.
Companies Amendment Bill 2024.
I recognize the Honorable Deputy Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that a bill shortly entitled the Companies Amendment Bill 2024 be given a third reading and passed.
The question is that a bill entitled the Companies Amendment Bill 2024 be given a third reading and passed. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The Companies Amendment Bill 2024 is duly passed.
Civil Proceedings Closed Material Procedures Bill 2023.
I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Civil Proceedings Closed Material Procedures Bill 2023 be given a third reading and passed.
The question is that a bill shortly entitled the Civil Proceedings Closed Material Procedures Bill 2023 be given a third reading and passed. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The Civil Proceedings Closed Material Procedures Bill 2023 is duly passed. Madam Clerk,
Sir.
if I could have a moment.
Sure.
Mr. Deputy Premier, may I ask if you're ready at this stage to proceed with the government motions, or you wish to await the arrival of the Honorable Premier?
My preference was to give the Premier. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My preference would be to give the Premier 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, I will suspend then until 3 o'clock. That clock is slow. We'll suspend until 3 o'clock. Good afternoon. Parliament is resumed.
Motions. Government motion number 2 of 2023-24, Public Management Finance Act 2020 revision, issuance of a deed of indemnity to the Board of Directors for Cayman Airways Limited, to be moved by the Honourable Minister of Tourism and Ports.
I recognize the Honourable Minister for Tourism and Ports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the motion, government motion number 2 on the order paper for 2023-2024, which is captioned issuance of a deed of the indemnity to the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited, and further reads as follows. Whereas in 2010, the Cabinet and further on the Parliament and Finance Committee approved the issuance to the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited of a deed of indemnity guarding against the potential liability of members of the board and allowing the company to continue to trade despite the company's financial position. And whereas the same factors and concerns apply to the existing Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited and the government of the Cayman Islands, is therefore desirous of issuing a similar deed of indemnity to members of the existing board as per the attached deed of indemnity. And whereas Section 8 of the Public Management and Finance Act 2020 revision provided that a general rule, no guarantee may be given by or on behalf of the government unless it has been authorized by a resolution of Parliament. Be it now therefore resolved that the Parliament hereby authorizes the issuance to members of the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited of a deed of indemnity guarding against the potential liability of members of the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The motion has been duly moved. The question is, be it now therefore resolved that the Parliament hereby authorizes the issuance to members of the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited of a deed of indemnity guarding against the potential liability of members of the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited. Does the Minister wish to speak thereto?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Cayman Airways Limited has operated with a shareholders deficiency for quite some time. Cayman Islands government has identified successive Cayman Airways boards of directors from any liability that may arise from those circumstances. The ministry has received representation from the current Cayman Airways board of directors in relation to a similar issuance of deed of indemnity for the board. Mr. Speaker, the deed of indemnity is between Cayman Airways Limited, the government of the Cayman Islands, and the Cayman Airways Board of Directors. Specific clauses include in the deed of indemnity state that Cayman Airways Limited and the Cayman Islands government shall fully indemnify and protect indemnified persons to the extent allowed by law from all claims and losses related to their actions or omissions as directors of Cayman Airways Limited, provided that they acted in good faith and in the company's best interest. Also, Mr. Speaker, the deed of the indemnity states that Cayman Airways Limited shall use its reasonable endeavors to ensure and maintain at its own expense on behalf of the indemnified persons the appropriate director's liability insurance. This obligation includes ensuring that the associated premiums are consistently paid for the benefit of the indemnified persons and should remain in effect as long as any claims may lawfully be brought against the indemnified persons in respect of any liability occurring or is alleged to have occurred while an indemnified person is or was a director of the company. Mr. Speaker, the deed of the indemnity is governed by and is to be interpreted in accordance with the laws of the Cayman Islands. It also states that all parties agree that the courts of the Cayman Islands are to have exclusive jurisdiction to settle any disputes which may arise in connection with the creation, validity, effect, interpretation, performance of, or the legal relationship established by this deed or otherwise arising in connection with this deed. Mr. Speaker, with all that being said, I recognize that there is a significant amount of legal terminology that I just outlined. But in essence, the deed of indemnity is in keeping with the previous Cayman Airways boards have existed and have benefited from. Accordingly, Mr. Speaker, with little contribution to this specific motion, I commend this motion to this Honourable House, to all members of Parliament, and ask that they give it their full support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Does any other member wish to speak? Does any other member wish to speak? If no other member wishes to speak, I will put the question. Be it now therefore resolved that the Parliament hereby authorizes I'm not sure it is a right of reply, but there's nothing to reply to. But if the minister wishes to make some concluding remarks, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to thank all members for their tacit support, and I'm happy and excited to report back to the Board of Members that it would be passed shortly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is, be it now therefore resolved that the Parliament hereby authorizes the issuance to members of the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited of a deed of indemnity guarding against the potential liability of members of the Board of Directors of Cayman Airways Limited. Those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. The motion is passed.
Government motion number 5 of 2023-24, motion to establish a fuel review select committee to be moved by the Honourable Minister of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transportation and Development.
Mr. Speaker, Government motion number 5 of 2023-2024, motion to establish a fuel review select committee. Whereas Section 70 of the Parliament Standing Orders allows for the establishment of a select committee to assist members in exercising its functions under part of the Constitution, and whereas on the 21st of September 2023, a motion was passed in this House of Parliament to form a select committee and consist of no less than 6 members and chaired by the Minister of Planning, with the responsibility to provide recommendations by the 29th of February of 2024 on how to reduce the cost of fuel in the Cayman Islands. Be it therefore resolved that the Parliament establish a fuel review select committee, and be it therefore resolved that the membership of the fuel review select committee shall comprise with the following as the Honorable Johanny Ebanks, MP for Minister of Planning, as chairman, Mr. Christopher Saunders, MP member, Honorable Dwayne Seymour, JP, MP member, Honorable Kenneth Bryan, as a member, Honorable Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, as a member, Honorable W. McKeever Bush, JP, as a member, Honorable Isaac Rankin, as a member, and be it further resolved that in public interest and some meetings of this select committee shall be held in public.
Motion has been duly moved. The question is, or the questions are, be it therefore resolved that the Parliament establishes a fuel review select committee, and be it therefore resolved that the membership of the fuel review select committee shall comprise of the following: the Honorable Johanny Ebanks, MP, Minister of Planning, as chairman, Mr. Christopher Saunders, MP, as a member, the Honorable Dwayne Seymour, JP, MP, member, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, MP, member, the Honorable Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, MP, member, the Honorable W. McKeever Bush, JP, MP, member, the Honorable Isaac Rankin, MP, member. And be it further resolved that in the public's interest, some of the meetings of the Select Committee shall be held in public. Does the Minister wish to speak thereto? Minister, if you wish to amend the motion, you may do so on the floor. I will just make one observation, and it's just an observation. The Constitution, section, oh Lord, I've just looked at it, I've lost the page now. Just a moment. I'll have it right back for you. It is section 71 of the Constitution. I considered this when the motion was presented. The section 71 says, with respect to standing committees of the House, that the makeup of committees should, as far as possible, reflect the numerical strength of the various groupings in the House. The reason why I let this one go is because, strictly speaking, this is not a standing committee. It is a select committee. But you may wish to consider, Minister, a rebalancing of the membership that is proposed, because currently there is only one member from the opposition on the committee. But I can't force you down that road, because this, is, strictly speaking, is not a standing committee. But it's an observation which I make.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for that, for your knowledge on what you have just mentioned. But when we contacted a few of the members, some of them actually had conflicts of being on this select committee. So unless some of those members can identify themselves, except for what I could think is Ms. Barbara, who doesn't have a conflict with this, I would love to put their name forward. I would be happy to have them on this committee.
You have to play the hand you dealt, Minister. So if that's the case, that's the case. Just proceed.
Okay. So, Mr. Speaker, while we're there, we would like to make an amendment to the motion to, in accordance with the provision of the standing orders 25.1 and 2 of this, the Honorable Minister of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, Transport and Development seek to move the following amendment to the government motion number 5/23/24 in the resolve section, that we delete the name of the Honorable Isaac Rankin, and we insert the name of Mr. Bernie Bush and Miss Barbara Connolly to this select committee.
The amendment, leave is granted for the amendment to be moved, and it has been duly moved. Does any member wish to speak to the amendment? If not, then the question is that motion, government motion number 5 of 2023-24 be amended in the second resolve provision by deleting the name Honorable Isaac Rankin, MP, member, and replacing it with the name Mr. Bernie Bush, MP, member, and Ms. Barbara Connolly, MP, member. Does any member wish to speak to the amendment? To the motion as amended? No, to the amendment. If not, then the question is that the motion that the proposed amendment form
Mr.
part
Chair.
of the motion. I put the question. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those against? So the question now is, be it therefore, so what we have to do now, the motion as amended is what will now be debated. And, sorry, Minister. Please use the mic, I can't hear. We want to get this right. I'm not too worried about the optics.
Mr. Speaker, what I was just trying to ask you is, now that we're adding a member and removing a member, if we can just make an amendment to the date also, because the recommendation to be back to the House is on the 29th of February.
So, Minister.
Okay.
The cleanest way of doing this is for us to vote on the amendment, the question that I just put, and then we amend that again. Otherwise, it's going to get hopelessly confusing. So, those in favor of Government Motion number 5 of 2023-2024 being amended as follows, and be it therefore resolved that the membership of the Fuel Review Select Committee shall comprise the following: the Honorable Joanne E. Banks, MP, Minister of Planning, Chairman; Mr. Christopher Saunders, MP, Member; the Honorable Dwayne Seymour, JP, MP, Member; the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, MP, Member; the Honorable Catherine E. Banks Wilkes, MP, Member; the Honorable W. McKeever Bush, JP, MP, Member; Mr. Bernie Bush, MP, Member; and Ms. Barbara Rankin, MP, Member. Huh? MP. Where my head? Oh, I see. It's Isaac Rankin. That's what did me. The Honorable Ms. Barbara Connolly, MP, Member. Those in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I think the ayes have it. And so Government Motion number 5 of 2023-24 is accordingly amended. Minister, you may now put the second amendment, the date. You need to move the amendment. I need you to move. Honorable Minister, the clerk has clarified a point. There is no need to amend. In fact, we can't amend that provision because that is simply quoting from a previous decision. In your debate, you can propose what you think is reasonable. So, can we now proceed for you to speak to the motion as amended? We'll get there eventually, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think we're actually there now. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, I stand before you revisiting a matter of critical importance that has been previously highlighted: a relentless surge in fuel prices that impacts every corner of the Cayman Islands. This issue, Mr. Speaker, which touches the lives of all of our constituents, and places a significant burden on businesses, demands our immediate and collective needs immediate and collective attention. The struggle of our citizens to manage their electrical bills due to drastic increase in the cost, Mr. Speaker, is a clear signal that we must act swiftly. In response to the escalating challenges, I am proposing once more the establishment of the Fuel Review Select Committee. Mr. Speaker, this committee is tasked with a comprehensive examination of the factors driving the fuel prices upwards and developing actionable strategies and mitigate the strains on our economy and well-being of our people. This proposed bipartisan committee will include distinguished members from both the government and the opposition. As the chair of the committee, myself, the Minister of Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, and all the rest, MP Christopher Saunders, MP Dwayne Seymour, MP Kenneth Bryan, Minister Kenneth Bryan, Minister Catherine Wilkes, MP Makiba Bush, MP Bernie Bush, as amended just a little while ago, and Miss Barbara Connolly. Mr. Speaker, this committee mandate is to explore the underlying causes of fuel prices increasing, investigate alternative energy options, and propose measures to foster better regulations on competition within the fuel sector. Mr. Speaker, when I talk about fuel, we're not just talking about gasoline, but we're talking also about propane, other sources of fuel, natural gas, anything directly within the fuel economy. Mr. Speaker, the committee's mandate will go out to see what we can do to come up with the best measures to how to lower the costs for the people of the Cayman Islands. Finding the recommendations from the committee will be instrumental in guiding our government towards implementing effective policies and strategies. These efforts to aim to stabilize fuel prices and guarantee long-term energy affordability, contributing to the economic growth and the prosperity of the beloved Cayman Islands. Mr. Speaker, we all know that the fuel that comes in here is a pass-through when it comes to our bills. But for too long, Mr. Speaker, nobody has looked into what we can do when it comes to lowering the fuel costs in this country. Mr. Speaker, this is why I am passionate about setting up this fuel committee, to look at the alternatives on what we can do, call in the people in here, question them, figure out what it is it's going to take to lower the cost of fuel, not just for CUC, but at the pumps also, and those that buy fuel for cooking, the whole works. Mr. Speaker, fuel touches just about every single person in here. Whether you drive a car, whether you don't own a home. If you have to pay for the taxi service or the bus service to get from A to B, it's still in there. The cost is in there too. Mr. Speaker, what we just want to do is make sure we are bringing a level and fair playground to the people, because when I hear the people out there, they say they don't see where part there's a level playground out there for them. Mr. Speaker, what we look into this fuel committee and our findings will help for us to guide, as I said before, the policies, but also to see what we need to do with the proposals to make to good to off right, to be able to hold some of these people more accountable and to get things done in this country. Mr. Speaker, I am a believer that I believe that every single person in this country wants us to fix this fuel problem. Every single person. Even those that can afford it. I believe they still want us to fix it. Because they still say that they pay too much. Some of them may have the opportunity to put solar on their rooftop, which the average man still has to pay for it on his fuel charge, when we see it on our bill. Mr. Speaker, we need to figure it out. And the people elect us, as the 19 of us in this room, to help make their lives a lot better. Mr. Speaker, one thing I came here and I said that was the one thing that I was going to always make sure to do, is what I can do to help make the lives of the Caymanians better. And I think this is a really good win and a good starting point to figure out this problem that we have here. Why is it that we can't figure out how to lower the cost that goes into our electricity, into CUC? Why is it that we're not looking for different alternatives? Why are we not looking for a cheaper source of fuel to get in there? I hear a lot of the critics, and sometimes you ask a simple question, and you can sit down and you hear the experts give you 1 hour of complaints, or 1 hour of reasons why we shouldn't do it, but nothing saying why you should. Mr. Speaker, we're not in the business to protect nobody, none of them. I'm in the business to make sure that Caymanians can live comfortable and afford to be able to keep their lights on and afford to be able to keep money in their pocket. Every Caymanian love this winter season that came through. The Northwester might have did us bad, but what it did is brought in the cool breeze and brought in able to keep our electricity costs down. Every Caymanian loved that because their electricity bill went down. Why can't we continue to force these electricity costs to go down? Why are we sitting here not just fiddling with ourselves, with our thumbs, and talking to each other, but not doing nothing about it? For years and years and years, it has been a problem, and nobody has tried to come up with a solution. Nobody has said to these guys, listen, enough is enough. This is what you're going to have to do. Nobody. How many of these people have taken a break during the COVID and said, boy, we're going to bring the prices down? How many of them have opened up their books to you all and showed and said, listen, this is exactly what we're making? Mr. Speaker, they may have done it to some people, but have they really shown it to the public? Some may say, yeah, well, lucky for you that you got to see it. All of a sudden now, because people hear the select committee is coming, you hear a bunch of invites want to come to you to explain to you this is going on and this is what is happening and this is what we have to do, and or you need to come and tour the facility so you can see this. I don't need to tour the facility. You know, the facility that I tour is the one that I leave from here and drive all the way back northside every single day and burn out the gas, go in that direction, and cross every gas station with the high prices on it. Those are the facilities I've been touring. Those are the facilities I tour. I don't need to go down and see for you to explain to me your reasons why your gas prices are high. Mr. Speaker, it is high time, and I said I wasn't going to speak too long on this today because I thought this is something that every single person in this house wants to get on to, those that can and those that are not. I would love to find the right word, but sometimes I get a little bit passionate about it, and sometimes the politics get inside of me, and I need to just leave that alone sometimes. Mr. Speaker, sometimes it reminds you of why we can't fix the problem. Because sometimes it is the people that have invested into these same places. I'm not calling nobody name. But there are large people that are invested in these places, and they don't like to see the monopoly change. Well, I'm not going to use the word dollar house because I know another member, he'll likely use that when they get up to speak to it. But Mr. Speaker, we have too many people that benefit from this fuel sector. And they sit there and count, and they count, and they live happy while our people perish with it. I have to wonder whether, boy, let me count and see if I got $5 I can put in today, because I can't feel it. A lot of them don't know what it feels like. Some of them don't even know the prices of gas, because they don't look at it. Mr. Speaker, or maybe they don't care. Mr. Speaker, I am hoping that when this committee is finished, we have a solution to bring forward to the government on how we are going to tackle the high costs of living when it comes to fuel in this country. I am glad that the member from Ms. Barbara Conley has put herself forward to join this committee. I'm happy to that, because I'm glad that, because we need somebody from the opposition side to be on there, on the official opposition side. I don't know how you guys divide the opposition over there, but I'll leave you all to that. I think we got 1, 2, or 3 oppositions now, I don't know. But I'll leave it there. But, Mr. Speaker, Ms. Barbara, thank you for putting yourself forward. GT South, sorry, the member for GT South, thank you for putting yourself forward to be a part of a movement to help lower the cost of living in this country for the people of the Cayman Islands. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what is driving every single fuel factor, but I tell you, we are going to make a deep dive into this, because it seems that it's not just at the pumps, but it seems like also it is the fuel that we burn for cooking that we need to look at to see what is there. But we also need to see the factor too of what we see is natural gas that is popping up. I'm saying that it wants to come here. Mr. Speaker, we need to make sure that if something is going to be implemented here, is going to be coming here, it is coming here for the right reasons. We hear the company saying they have to add this on to their system. Mr. Speaker, what I want to make sure that when they add that to the system is that it's not going to be another pass-through cost. They just take it for whatever price they get it for and just add it on, because they just want to show that they're doing a cleaner burn. I'm not into just a cleaner burn. I want to see the better prices. I want to see the CUC bill come down. I want to see the prices at the pumps come down. And what we have to do, we hear that the small man at the pump saying, boy, they want to make a certain amount at the station. Well, then who is it that's making all the money? Who is it? Why is it that the fuel can go up all the time before the next ship is in? It is rapidly, quickly to go up, but you never see the trickle-down effect happen to months. They always talk about, boy, months before, you can see it drop back down. Now, as I said, some people hear that this committee is coming up, so you see changes starting to happen here, there, little tweaks, small tweaks there and there. But all that is to say, well, you hear the government is looking into this. We are already proactive. We're starting to do this. I'm glad that they're starting, but they should have did it a long time. We shouldn't have taken us to get to here, Mr. Speaker, to get this sorted out. We shouldn't have to wait this long to get this thing sorted out. So, Mr. Speaker, on that note, I will sit down and hear what the rest of the members of this honorable House have to say. And I will finish my other comments in my wrapping up, in my closing. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to stand up, to bring this motion to this House, to support this Fuel Review Select Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Does any other member wish to speak? Member from Bordentown West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to start out by thanking the Honorable Minister from Northside for bringing this motion to the House so soon after it was passed initially last year. Mr. Speaker, I also want to go on record for thanking the member for West Bay West, Honorable Member, for seconding the motion when it was originally brought to the House. Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank the Honorable Premier for creating the environment for us to take this bold step in setting up this select committee to look at fuel. And also, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you, your good self. And the reason, Mr. Speaker, why I have included you in the thanks is that when I first arrived in this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, I arrived as a member of the Legislative Assembly. And during my first term, you saw fit to elevate this legislative body from a legislative assembly to a parliament. And at the time when that was done, Mr. Speaker, I remember you asking us as members to elevate the way in which we represent and to elevate the way in which we conduct the business of this House. Just earlier today, Mr. Speaker, you also alluded to the lack of meetings from in the Parliament Management Committee, and once again challenging members of this House to rise to the occasion of what a parliament should be. So, for the class of 2021 who came in all as members of parliament, it's a different mindset versus for those who started as members of a legislative assembly and then moved to that of a member of parliament. And it is the elevation of our thought process that led to the creation of this motion. Mr. Speaker, many of our people tune in to the congressional proceedings in the United States and the parliamentary proceedings in the UK and see the level of oversight and the level of involvement in many of the day-to-day activities of their citizens and pretty much ask the same of us. And I believe that this parliament is on its way to start looking into more of those activities that affect our people on a daily basis. Equally, Mr. Speaker, I am very pleased with the addition of the member for West Bay North and the member for Georgetown South on this committee. And the reason for that, Mr. Speaker, is simple. In our first term, between the term 2017 to 2021, the member for West Bay North and the member for Georgetown South, along with myself, were members of the Public Accounts Committee that looked at the time into the operations of OFREG. And it was during that time we started to call in the fuel companies and other companies that were regulated by OFREG to get a better understanding of how these industries were serving our people and also to some extent how their activities were affecting our people on a day-to-day basis. And it is rather ironic, Mr. Speaker, that I remember for one particular person who came as a witness from one of the fuel companies. We literally went through their pricing of when the fuel left the Gulf Coast to when it arrived in Cayman. And for whatever reason, as we looked at each cost along the way, the general manager could not explain $2.50 worth of gallon of fuel, only to say at the end of it, when he couldn't explain the difference, was to say that Cayman is a high-cost jurisdiction. That stood out with me. So, Mr. Speaker, as I've said before in many debates, not every single time we go down the field, we're going to score a goal. But the job of this parliament and successive parliament is to keep moving the ball closer and closer to the goal with the ultimate benefit for our people. The Caymanian people, Mr. Speaker, and those that call the Cayman Islands home, recognize and smart enough to know that there are no magic bullets for the challenges that are facing this country. But what they do expect at a minimum is that their political leaders, one, be aware of the problem, and two, at least try to develop a plan to fix the problem. And I think to some extent, they're willing to be patient enough to give us the time to do so. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that really triggered for me to originally brought this motion was something that happened in 2015. And just to put things in context, Mr. Speaker, when you are a person like myself who like to search information, we can actually back into many information that we need in this country. So, for example, if you go to the Port Authority website, Mr. Speaker, you can see the volume of everything that is imported into this country. So, for example, you can go through and see the volume of diesel, avgas, propane. Well, avgas, when I say avjet, that's referring to aviation fuel, diesel, and propane, aviation fuel, and gas that's imported into the country. So you can get the volume of actually what is imported in the country, but you don't see the value. Well, Mr. Speaker, if you shift over to the ESO website and you look at their balance of payment and trade and everything else, the ESO, because of their access to other information, can actually give you the value of the total imports that come into the country. So the Port Authority can give you the volume, and the ESO can give you the value. And while it's not on a per line basis, you can kind of have an idea of what the average cost is, looking at all the different volumes. And over a 10-year period, 9-year period, you can have an idea of, develop a relationship between the volume and the value. Equally, Mr. Speaker, CUC is a publicly traded company, and I might add their annual report every year is actually quite detailed, where they provide the fuel factor, how much money the government, how much money that they actually charge in terms of the fuel factor itself, and also even their fuel costs. And one of the things that jumped out to me, Mr. Speaker, was in 2015. Now, I do recognize that you have to take in the value of inventory, because it's not as if though fuel isn't stored on island. So for year to year, it could be one cheap fuel inside the tanks versus more expensive fuel, or vice versa. So it is not science. But what really jumped out at me in 2015, Mr. Speaker, is that the total value of fuel that was actually brought into the country in 2015 was $106,849,000 CI dollars. So that was the total value of all fuel that was brought into the Cayman Islands in 2015. Equally, Mr. Speaker, CUC's fuel costs, as per the annual report, even though it's in US dollars, converted to CI at 0.84, was $92,456,000. So in short, Mr. Speaker, we brought in total value of all fuel into the island was $106,849,000, and CUC fuel cost was $92,456,000, or 87% of the total value of fuel brought into this country. There is no way, Mr. Speaker, That remaining 13% was just all the gas stations, the boat owners, and everybody else. Again, like I said, I do recognize that you have to factor in inventory that may be on island and so forth. And as an accountant, I'll be aware of that, and I'm sure even the Honorable Leader of Opposition and other accountants in the House would recognize that. But, Mr. Speaker, I have done this exercise from 2013 to 2022, and I'd be more than happy to make it available to all members of the House and any member of the public, not to go into those details. But the issue is, Mr. Speaker, is that when you do look at what CUC is using as part of their fuel factor, and then you take out what isn't CUC's portion, and then you factor in the amount of cars on island, the amount of boats on island, the trucks and everything on island, you then have to ask yourself, what kind of markup is happening at the pump that these individuals can survive within the gas stations? And we also do recognize, Mr. Speaker, that even the very margins for the gas stations are very small. So the real issue, the real essence and the real issue isn't CUC per se, Mr. Speaker, isn't the gas stations per se, Mr. Speaker, but actually the fuel companies. And that is where we need to get to. We started this journey at the Public Accounts Committee several years back, and due to COVID and everything else, we didn't get a chance to deep dive further. But I think this is the time now for us to get into that, to finish that conversation that we started several years back. And thus the reason why I'm happy that the member for West Bay North and the member for Georgetown South are added to this committee, as it now gives us a chance to ride again. And more importantly, find out where that $2.50 that was unexplained at the time, other than to say Cayman is a high-cost jurisdiction, where I need to find out, and the public need to find out, where that $2.50 per gallon that is unexplained went. It is one of the things that have bothered me, and I am very happy that the minister has seen it fit to create this select committee for us to finish that conversation for our people. Mr. Speaker, 2 years ago, wasn't so long ago when the government had to step in and literally created a fuel assistance program to help people with what was happening at the time when we had the high fuel costs. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure many people in this House, members of this House are mindful that this year is a U.S. election year, and there will be external forces that will try one way or the other to basically influence the U.S. elections. Some basically said that between the Russians and the Arabs, the Arab community or the Middle East, they intend to, or OPEC Plus as they refer to themselves, intend to maybe reduce the supply of fuel, and naturally they'll drive prices up just to basically influence the U.S. elections. But we cannot leave our people, if that happens or it doesn't happen, we cannot leave our people exposed to the headwinds where they're looking for us as their political leaders and their representatives to do something about it. It may require, at some point, finding a balance between what is in the best interest of the public and also what's in the best interest of the companies. Because, Mr. Speaker, it's important that people don't get the belief that the members of this parliament is anti-business. What we are is anti-value for money for our people. Because at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, we need a vibrant employment sector. We have entities that employ many Caymanians where they do rely on those companies to feed their families and pay their bills. So this isn't an anti-business motion, but we also do recognize, Mr. Speaker, that many businesses also have to pay a high utility bill and also to some extent keep their vehicles on the road and everything else. So this is not just something that's anti-business. In some extent, this may even go to help other businesses who are also struggling to pay their energy costs in one way or the other, whether it be at the pump or at the plug. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want to thank the government again for bringing this motion, and I really want to thank the Honorable Premier for creating the environment for this motion. And members in this House will understand why I thanked her. But as I said, Mr. Speaker, I also want to thank you for encouraging us as newer members, not as veteran like yourself, to really elevate our game, to elevate our level of representation, and elevate this parliament to do more meaningful work for the Caymanian people and those that call the Cayman Islands home. And I look forward to the minister and working with the minister and other members of this committee to get to the bottom and find out what happened to that $2.50. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honorable member. Does any other member wish to speak? Does any other member wish to speak? If not, then I'll invite the minister moving the motion to exercise his right of reply.
Mr. Speaker, let me just start by thanking my colleagues for their full support for us putting this motion together and bringing this. Let me thank the member for Bordentown West for his full contribution and for his full support on this motion. And all the other members in the House that I believe are on board with their full support also, and their tacit approval. Mr. Speaker, as I think the member for Bordentown West says, some of us have been aware of the problem. And yes, Mr. Speaker, we are aware what the problem is. And our constituency, our friends, our family, the whole island are aware of the problems. But, Mr. Speaker, there's no longer need for us to be aware of the problems. We need to come up with the solutions for the problems. And that is why we are here to put this committee together. So I look forward to the next couple of weeks and calling in the people that we need to call in and asking the tough questions and coming up with a solution on what it's going to take to team this big dragon that we have to go against out here. But, Mr. Speaker, a lot of us didn't just get here by just sitting here and being easy. And I know one thing. I had to fight every day of my life to get where I wanted to go, and I continue to fight. And as long as I'm here, the people of this country will know that I'm here to be fighting for them. So, as I said that, Mr. Speaker, I thank this Honourable House, all the members. Look forward to chairing this committee. Look forward to coming up with solutions. Look forward to bringing those solutions back to this Honourable House and letting them know, and look forward for not only bringing them back to the Honourable House, but actually carrying them and making them into policies, whether it is policies, whether it's laws, regs, whatever we come up with, but bringing that out. I want to thank you all, and everybody have a good day.
Thank you, Minister. The question is, be it therefore resolved that the Parliament establish a Fuel Review Select Committee, and be it therefore resolved that the membership of the Fuel Review Select Committee shall comprise the following: the Honourable Johanny Ebanks, MP, Minister of Planning, as Chairman; Mr. Christopher Saunders, MP, Member; Honourable Dwayne Seymour, JP, MP, Member; the Honourable Kenneth Bryan, MP, Member; the Honourable Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, MP, Member; the Honourable W. McKeever Bush, JP, MP, Member; Mr. Bernie Bush, MP, Member; Miss Barbara Connolly, JP, MP, member. And be it further resolved that in the public's interest, some meetings of this select committee shall be held in public. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I believe the ayes have it. The motion is passed. Madam Clerk.
Government motion number 6 of 2023-24, change in membership of the Public Accounts Committee, to be moved by the Honorable Premier.
I recognize the Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move motion 6 of 2023-2024 to change the membership in the Public Accounts Committee, whereas paragraph 1 of Standing Order 77 provides, and I quote, there shall be a standing committee to be styled the Public Accounts Committee to consider reports of the Auditor General. So paragraph A, on the accounts of the government. B, on such other accounts required to be laid before the House, as the committee may think fit. And C, on any matter incidental to the performance of the Auditor General, duties, or the exercise of the Auditor General's power as the committee may think fit, unquote. And whereas, following the resignation of the elected member for East End, Mr. Isaac D. Rankin, from the Public Accounts Committee, in the motion referred to as the committee, by letter dated the 13th day of October 2023, the current membership of the committee comprises of 1, elected member from Georgetown East, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Roy M. McTaggart, Chairman. 2, elected member from Georgetown North, Mr. Joseph X. Hugh. 3, elected member from Georgetown South, Ms. Barbara E. Connolly. 4, elected member for Savannah, Honorable Heather D. Bodden. And 5, elected member for West Bay West, Honorable D. W. McKeever Bush. And whereas paragraph 4 of the Standing Order 80 provides that a member of a standing committee may resign from that committee by tendering the member's resignation to the presiding officer, whereupon the House may appoint another member to fill the vacancy. Be it therefore resolved that the Parliament appoints the elected member for West Bay North, Mr. Bernie A. Bush, to be a member of the committee.
Motion has been duly moved. Does the Honorable Premier wish to speak thereto?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Only to say that, as the motion indicated, there had been a resignation from the committee which left a vacancy, and the government is now seeking, with the leave of the House and the successful anticipated passage thereof, to appoint Mr. Bernie Bush, who I can inform the House has agreed to serve on this committee. I know that there were concerns expressed to me by the Honourable Leader of the Opposition that there were, from time to time, quorum problems, and in the interest of good governance, as this is a very significant, important, and essential committee that meets as a watchdog of government expenditure, we thought that it was prudent that we would utilize this said meeting of the House to rectify that situation. I wish the committee the very best, and I pray tell that the court would not be a challenge from here on forth.
Thank you, Madam Premier. Does any other member wish to speak? The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to say a few words, first off, to thank the Premier for accepting my request and bringing forward this motion to appoint, fill the vacancy left by the resignation of the member from East End. Mr. Speaker, it had no secret, because all of our meetings are held, and our investigation reports and stuff are all held in public. And we have struggled to make quorum ever since the member from East End resigned. And so I'm really happy that once again the committee is now restored to its full complement. So not only do we have a full complement, but it also restores and keeps the balance of the committee that we have had, that we would have. And so I just want to say I'm happy to support the motion, and we look forward to that we can continue our work on the committee, Public Accounts Committee, with robustness, and that we will have no further issues with the quorum. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Right. Thank you, Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Does any other member wish to speak? Does any other member wish to speak? The Honourable Minister for Planning.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to just to get up to thank everybody here and just to show my support for the members here. But I just wanted to, not for the House to be misled, that the reason for the member from East End coming off of it wasn't that he wasn't attending, was because he's become a minister now, and that was the reason why. So that gap there was kind of left open. So I just want to make sure that he didn't just, everybody know that he didn't just resign because not that he didn't want to be a part of there. So I just want to raise that and just say that I fully support this, and I look for good forward stuff coming from that committee.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The Minister from East End has a good friend. Does any other member wish to speak? Does any other member wish to speak? If no other member wishes to speak, I will put the question. Be it therefore resolved that the Parliament appoints the elected member for West Bay North, Mr. Bernie A. Bush, to be a member of the committee. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those against, no. I believe the ayes have it. The motion is passed. Madam Clerk.
Other business, private members' bills. First reading, Consumer Protection and Guarantees Bill 2023.
Before we proceed further, may I inquire of the member moving the bill, that is the honourable member for Bordentown West, whether he wishes to proceed with the first reading or he wishes to move the motion he indicated to me earlier before that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to move the motion that I indicated to you before the first reading.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's Standing Order 58, but I'm not sure. I'll follow your advice from yesterday with regards to bills being materially changed due to amendments. Based on feedback received from the public during the consultation period, there are going to be some material changes to the bill, and as such, I'd like to have the leave of this House to move a motion to withdraw the bill at this time, pending those amendments being made and also further public consultation as a result of those amendments. Thank you.
The motion is duly, no, it's not duly moved. We need a seconder.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. The amendment, sorry.
No, the motion.
Motion.
Motion has been duly moved. The motion is for leave, to grant the member leave, member for Bordentown West, to withdraw private members' bill entitled Consumer Protection and Guarantees Bill 2023. Does any member wish to speak thereto? Does any member wish to speak thereto? The Honourable Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just for the records, to so reflect the government's gratitude to the honourable member from Bordentown West for, after having duly considered and responding to the new information feedback from the public, to agree to withdraw it at this time. So the government has had discussion with the said member and is happy at this stage to agree with that withdrawal motion, sir.
Thank you, Madam Premier. Does any other member wish to speak? Does any other member wish to speak? If not, then I will put the question that private members' bill entitled Consumer Protection and Guarantees Bill 2023 be withdrawn from this meeting of the Parliament. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I believe the ayes have it. The motion is carried. We have come to the end of the order paper. Madam Premier, may I have any indication of how we proceed tomorrow?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, after having spoken with our colleagues and happy to be in the consensus mode, I wish to move the motion to adjourn sine die, and all questions that were not answered will be answered in writing and circulated. I've spoken to my team no later than Friday of this week.
Thank you, Madam Premier. The question is that this House now do adjourn sine die. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, no. I believe the ayes have it. The House is accordingly adjourned sine die.